Alright, Knights of Apollo, what's up guys? It's Apollo here and welcome back to the battlefield. We are playing Napoleon Total War and we are using the mod Napoleon's Eagles where you can play some epic large-scale battles. I mean, look at this. It's gonna be a massive fight. Now, this is the historical scenario or historical battle of Quatre, which was part of the Waterloo campaign. It took place 16th of June, 1815, and it was a pretty even fight. The casualties for the Anglo allies, it was about 4,800 dead or wounded, and then for the French, it was about 4,140 dead or wounded. In terms of numbers, there was about 18,000 infantry for the French, 2,000 cav, and 32 guns for the French. For the British and Allies, they had about 36,000 infantry and 70 guns at the end of the battle. So they didn't start off with that many, but as more reinforcements joined the fight, they had a much larger force. And people consider it a tactical victory for the British and a strategic victory for the French. So go figure. So we got some epic historical champions on the battlefield. And speaking of champions, today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Are you guys tired of the same old fluffy, cartoonish looking mobile game? Well, thanks to Raid Shadow Legends, we finally get the experience we want. It's an epic RPG. It's got real, raw, dark, epic, and awesome gameplay. So what are you doing, guys? Link in the description. It is free to play. So Raid Shadow Legends has hundreds of playable champions that you can unlock. I'm going to go ahead and just unlock some with some shards. So our first champion is Twin Claw Disciple. He does a lot of damage and he has a heal reduction debuff, which sounds really powerful. Let's open up another shard. And now we unlocked a Raider. She can attack one unit twice. And she has a speed debuff, which you can use on her opponents. And finally, let's open one more. We got the Rotting Mage. This guy looks disgusting, but he is powerful. He's got a freeze ability, and he has an attacking buff, which you can use on allied champion. And another reason to play Raid Shadow Legends is that they just released their Battle Pass. Season 1 is live, and you can win awesome rewards, including free energy refills, gems, upgraded artifact sets, and new epic and legendary champions by fulfilling the daily and weekly challenges. So guys, what are you waiting for? There's a link down in the video description. Go to the video description, click on that special link, and you will get 100,000 silver, 2 clan boss keys, 10 mysterious shards, and a free awesome champion, the Executioner. Claim your rewards by clicking on the chest located on the top right corner of the main menu screen. This package will only be available for the next 30 days, so don't miss out. Okay, back on the battlefield, and you can see that things are about to get spicy. We have shots already firing from this house at the incoming French. The French are being very aggressive here, using the roads, marching forward, and the British have kind of set up a nice defensive position around this little creek here and around the house. Now, this is a historical scenario, so we do have reinforcements back here that are going to arrive historically. So we have like reserves and divisions and whatnot. So that's why they're hanging back. So technically kind of just pretend that these are forces still on their march, on their way to the battle. And once it reaches certain, certain time markers, so you see this little timer down here. Once it reaches certain times, these forces will arrive when they arrived historically. So really getting immersed in the history. And the same thing for the British. They have reinforcements that are going to wait and join the battle a little bit later. So you really got to try to use what you can right now and try to get aggressive and really take the edge of the battle. Take advantage of the, whatever situation you are in. Try to win with what you have and wait for the reinforcements, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so far the French seem to not be too concerned about this house. It doesn't look like a lot of shots are landing from this house. They're firing at the French. They got some nice cover here from the stone wall and the trees, and they're marching up. Some line infantry to this kind of like this land bridge or this road here that's crossing the river. Back over this way, they're also pushing French on the other side of the house. They have some skirmishers up in the front here in skirmish formation. But yeah, they're just taking their time. They're strolling, not a care in the world. Like, no big deal. Keep firing at us so you can have that house. I'm not too worried about it. Over on the other side, the French have another force pushing across this bridge. And I think he's going to try to attack the British position here and try to get behind them. But it looks like the British are aware of that, and they are falling back. They've got some Nassau troops here, some skirmishers it looks like. They're falling back, and they're getting the heck out of Dodge, all right? They're like, whoa, 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 that is too big, and we're about to be outflanked over on this other side. So they're just kind of leaving this house to be left alone. So I'm kind of surprised that the French haven't made a move onto this house just to quickly take it out, you know, get it under your control. I did for a second in this this force here saw a British unit, so they might have a little bit of a force here that might try to do some flanking here. But the French are sending out units here, some line infantry to kind of watch this flank, watch this area, and make sure there's no hidden reserves here from the British that could be a problem later on in the battle. So yeah, the British are just full on retreating. I'm gonna go ahead. I know these battles are really cool, right? This is not to hate on the battles or anything, but they are at times slow, and I want to make sure this video is constantly entertaining. So we are going to do some fast forwarding here a little bit and wait for them to get into position. No need to just sit here and just kind of you know, watch them march, which it is cool to see them march, but you know, you can only watch for so much. But it looks like the British are now making their stand here, and I think we're going to get our first little engagement. We've got the Jaeger, second Nassau, about to open fire on the French there, and we have the Dutch militia holding right behind the Jaegers. But I think they're gonna actually call it off here. They're gonna fall back a little bit more. They do have a unit in the tree line, so this looks like just some solid infantry. Lots of Dutch boys here on the battlefield, which is cool to see. Being part Dutch, a little bit Dutch, I believe, Dutch and German. But yeah, they're just opening fire and really trying to hold this tree line. I think they want to hold it as long as possible, and that's why we're seeing French forces actually push up on this side too. They're actually going inward a little bit. I'm surprised they're not pushing just straight up and taking these guys on. But yeah, look at the French. Like, they're not even really concerned. They're just still just column formation, marching ahead. Whoa. Oh my God. Okay. There you go, guys. Now, a lot of these guys will get back up, which is kind of hilarious. But there goes that awesome artillery position. And that's what the British were falling back to. Falling back to the safety of the artillery. And this is getting intense, guys. This is getting very, very intense. I forgot to mention this in the intro, but I actually did a scenario of Quatre on the NTW3 mod. So after this video, if you want to see more Quatre action, there's a link to that video in the description. And that was actually almost 3 years ago. That's crazy. I felt like I did that video yesterday. But again, the artillery is shelling this line infantry. They're getting hit hard. And the British do a quick little volley, and they're falling back, but they are dangerously close to the French lines to just be falling back like that slowly, and they're going to get hit in the back there, the rear of the French lines, who are recovering from getting hit from the artillery. Now we've got a charge. Let's see, where's this charge? Oh, the French are going for the arty, and the British are not able to properly protect their artillery, and they're trying to get the heck out of there, but unfortunately, they're going to lose that artillery piece, and the British now send in their Dutch militia to try to zone out the French, but there's just so much of them. There's just pushing so aggressively. It's going to be tough for the British to hang on to this flank here. Now, they are still holding on to the tree line, and the French looks like he is, you know, assembling? He's forming a force to kind of deal with it, to watch the flank of the pushing French, you know, the spearhead attack here. And look at this, epic charges in this small little town. Imagine living here and you're just like, you know, it's just another day. You know, you probably heard that there's some armies marching and Napoleon's on his way over here, but you just don't expect the battle to be right here on your backyard. Uh-oh. Oh, we got a little bit of a freeze here. I think someone paused the battle. It's really funny with Napoleon. What happens is that whenever they pause the battle while playing, it pauses the replay. Okay, there we go. Looks like it's back on, and the fighting continues. Nice melee and flanking fire from this line infantry, and the shots continue on. Look at that. Epic shooting here, epic shots as they fight for the town. And they try to slim chip away at the numbers of this unit here. This line infantry from Nassau. There's a big push for this building, this house, which has a beautiful courtyard, which the soldiers are holding. That's another thing you'd have to deal with, is like troops in your house. And you're like, great, you're gonna garrison yourself in the house, and then they're gonna come and attack it. My house is gonna be destroyed. Thank you. But yeah, they're pushing hard, and they're trying to take this building. Look at this. The French come to the flank with a huge Chasseur Cheval charge. 6 Chasseur Cheval. They're coming in, and they just completely flank the British. And let's just get a bird's eye view of this. It's just, yeah, the French hit hard from this flank. There's a little bit of a fight over here. We got more British kind of fortifications that the French are attacking. But that was an excellent move by the French. Very aggressive. And I gotta, whenever I see a French player be aggressive, I love it, because that's Napoleon style, you know what I mean? Uh-oh. What? Prince William of Orange has fallen. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. So that, or he was captured. Doesn't matter. They're out of a general so early on. And the French just annihilate this fortification. Here comes, it looks like here comes some reserve forces. We're about I think at the 60-minute mark they were allowed to move up. And that's what we're seeing here. So here comes some reinforcements. First Royal Scots Foot. And this is really cool. Like, this is really cool. Seeing reinforcements arrive at different times of the battlefield. It's so immersive. And it's like, oh, just hold on another minute. Here comes reinforcements. Just hold on. So that's awesome. So we got some Highland Foot marching up with the Royal Scots Foot. They're trying to quickly get over here. Also, the British Cav. Look at this charge. Oh my god. British Cav trying to just trying to overwhelm them with numbers, and doing an excellent job of just trying to keep the French back a little bit as the British reinforcements arrive. But they're going to probably fall back because they are starting to break here, the Cav. But they should return. We got some Dutch Hussars. A lot of Dutch boys. And it seems that the French are still fighting the good fight. Look at this. Still trying to take this building. We've got the Dutch here who are just putting up a great fight. And look at the casualties here in the attempt of trying to take this stronghold. Oh my god. And now the French are forming up. The British have taken control of this farmhouse. And what a farmhouse. This is a rich farmer here. But they're kind of forming up. And they're taking on the French. And it's quite a bloody battle. I'm sure the British aren't too happy with this start of the fight, considering they lost this position so early, and now the French are forming up a nice line and dealing with the reinforcements. Back over here, though, let's not forget there is a little bit of a fight over here. We've got some more Dutch soldiers holding this building, and I'm sure they're waiting for reinforcements as well. Now, the French, I think the first reinforcement wave that shows up is at the 50-minute mark. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in 50 minutes, one of these units back here is going to move forward. So we'll see back in about 7 minutes. I think the reinforcement waves make this more exciting too. Like, because my problem, and you know, you can. My problem with these games is that maybe you won't like this opinion, but sometimes when you have all of your units at your disposal, like in NTW3 and stuff, and then you end up just having these like massively long lines, and it just kind of looks a little goofy. But with the reinforcement waves, it's gonna make this feel much more realistic, a lot more maneuvering, I mean, just look at this fight right here. This looks like nothing we've seen before, you know? I mean, we've seen stuff like it, but, you know, it's much better to see this than seeing this long line of just goofiness. Now, back over here, and look at, there's a fight going on in the tree line. That is awesome. By the way, guys, I'm sorry if the battle is too loud. I do have my sound. I love the sound effects loud for Napoleon. I love to, you know, feel like I'm right in the thick of the fight, and it's loud, you know? So, there we go, the French moving up. And, of course, Napoleon's tactic of march divided, fight united. Always having a, you know, his armies at least 1 day's away march from another. So in case one part of his army ends up finding the enemy and starts fighting, they know that reinforcements will be there eventually. So that's just, you know, Napoleon's a really interesting general. He's one of my favorites because it's not only was he great on the battlefield and with his tactics, but really what made him so good was the behind the scenes stuff, you know, like organizing his corps. Organizing his armies and being super just like very anal about it, you know what I mean? Just very, every small detail must be organized, you know what I mean? And I think that's what made him so successful. Also, let's not forget he was an inspiring leader. You know, he was very, very good at talking to his soldiers and making them basically feel like, hey, I'm gonna die for this guy. You know, Napoleon is my man. I'm gonna take a bullet for him. So I think that's just really cool. You know, that's really fascinating stuff. There's so much more to a battle that happens before the battle. You know, at times long before the battle. You know, it's just analytics. You know, just logistics. Not analytics, logistics is what I meant. So yeah, that's the cool thing I like about Napoleon. Anyways, more opening fire, more shots opening fire. The line battle is getting pretty intense. The British here just really need to hold on. And the British, I mean, you gotta give credit to this Dutch. And when I say British, I mean British and allies, which there was a lot of Dutch. And once again, I think we have a pause here. This might be the players saying, hey, here comes the next reinforcement wave, because we're at the 54-minute mark. So I think that's what they're doing. They're basically pausing the game, and they're just confirming reinforcements. They're like, all right, you know, it's at this time reinforcements need to arrive. So we're just fast forward again and wait. There we go. And there we go. The battle starts. No big deal. I like that though. It gives a player a chance to kind of look at his reinforcements, get them going, and then going back to the battlefield. So got some skirmishers in the mix with the line infantry, and the French are actually starting to fall back here a little bit in the center because I think they've got artillery. They have the Art à Cheval, the 6-pounder moving up, and really gonna help them out in this engagement. Get some nice firepower and start softening up these forces. Over here, the French are starting to deal with some morale issues. The British are doing really great with just numbers, and I think the French are just kind of running out of line infantry, and they really need to get those reinforcements up there. We do have some cav on the flank. That's why these guys are in square formation. But yeah, this is a little concerning because the British could get aggressive here and start pushing back the French, and I think that's why they're also moving up this cav. Look at this. Yeah, we got some Lancers moving up. Send in the Lancers, the French Lancers.
Our men are running, sir.
I always love that scene in Waterloo, the movie, when the Scots Grey start charging forward, and you know, Napoleon's talking with his general. It's like, it's the Scots Grey, you know, one of the most feared cav units in the world, and he's like, well, we'll send him, we'll match him with our Lancers. It's so cheesy, but I love that movie so much, and you know, it's such a good movie. Anyways, here comes a relief charge, as I like to call it, kind of bringing some relief to the line infantry. And it might actually get a good charge here because the unit's not looking the right way. Yeah, big push here. And they're actually, wow, they break this unit of line infantry in a matter of seconds. Very healthy unit, 118 men, but that's what Cav can do. And the French are being aggressive as hell, even though they're kind of outnumbered over here. And let's not forget, oh, look at this, some Cav in the back lines here. I didn't even see this, a little bit of a surprise attack. Oh, did they finally take the building? Yes, they did. The French finally take the building. After losing many French lives, they take this stronghold, and now they're ready to hold it. There's that big attack, and the French are destroying this British flank with few numbers thanks to the Cav. And this is going to be a problem for the British. Now, let's look. Do the French have any reinforcements arriving? It does not look like they can move up any troops yet. The French are still fighting for these strongholds over here. There's another one over here too, guys, that the British are still holding on to. They've got this random unit moving in, some Dutch militia forming up here and ready to hold the house. But yeah, look at this push. The French are closing in, and they're doing a lot of damage considering, you know, what they have here in terms of numbers. But I like it. It seems like the French are kind of holding in some positions and attacking in others. And that's kind of what you need to do. You need a spearhead in one area, maybe hold back in another. And now the French are going for a swinging flank here. And they're going to probably put some pressure on the back side of these lines who are holding back. So basically, this force is the anvil. And this force, oh, I'm sorry. This force is the hammer. And this force right here is more acting like the anvil. And there goes artillery now. The French artillery opening fire in this position. So I recently, if you guys have Netflix, I don't know if this is on, at least I know it's on the US Netflix, but they have a oh my god, excuse me, words are hard. Why can't I say documentary? Anyways, they got a little video, little movie about the 200th anniversary of Waterloo and kind of the reenactment of that. And I think it's called it's called like Being Napoleon, because they kind of interview two candidates who were going to play as Napoleon at the reenactment. There is actually an American who does a really good Napoleon. You know, he reenacts as Napoleon. Oh my god, that poor British soldier just flew over the French line. Imagine seeing that, being that poor guy and just like flying over the French. But yeah, they had two candidates to play as Napoleon. One was an American guy who had French ancestry. He could speak French, you know, so it's like he was closely tied to the French country. I think he had family in France as well. The other guy was French. He lived in France. And I kind of like the American guy a little bit more. Like, he looked a little bit more like Napoleon. And just, I don't know, he kind of fit the spot. You know, they were saying in the documentary, people were like, you know, how can you have an American as Napoleon? Shouldn't you have a Frenchman? It's like, well, you know, Napoleon wasn't French himself, so it kind of makes sense. But anyways, you guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about. I recommend you watch it. It's kind of interesting. They don't only show those two Napoleon guys. They also show, like, you know, other people who are playing as officers and just the common soldier. And, of course, at the end of the documentary, they show the... you know, the shots of the reenactment, which is, it's really cool. It's really, I wish I could have been there, but it must have been one hell of an experience to see a 200th anniversary of a battle and just seeing so many reenactors in one spot. I mean, that's the closest thing to time travel, you know what I mean? Anyways, as I was rambling on, the French have kind of squeezed the British back to this road, and here comes, it looks like, more troops over to reinforce this position just in time, because I don't think the British could hold on much longer. And let's not forget here, guys, that the French have reinforcements as well, but they've pushed up so far that the reinforcements have quite the distance to get here. So even when the reinforcements are allowed to move up, it's going to take some time because the French pushed up so far. So one thing to take note on. Also, we have the artillery. Looks like we only have one artillery. What happened to the other one? I don't know if it was destroyed, but hey, at least one is better than none. They're using canister shot right now, and oh, the crew is starting to take some losses here. Next man up. They're gonna load it up and get it ready for another shot. You'd probably need to take out these skirmishers to protect this artillery. I would get a little aggressive here and push on the skirms. We have artillery in the back here as well. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. Well, this artillery is moving up, but I know they have more. Oh, no, that's not artillery. Oh, it's up here. So they have artillery in the back, opening fire in the center position with this British lines. I think the French really want to take this small little town here of a couple houses, little farmhouse. Now, the French are falling back, actually, because I think they're getting really concerned about this British force in the tree line, because the artillery is right there. I mean, all it takes is a quick charge, and they could probably take out this artillery. But yeah, I think the French are kind of falling back, and they might send back reinforcements to deal with that. I mean, I don't know why the British aren't getting aggressive here and just going for it. It's just one unit of skirms. You could probably take them out quickly. But, you know, I don't play this mod a lot, so I could be just naive and not understand the mechanic or something. So, don't always take everything I have. You know, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm sure you guys already do that anyways, but do it if you don't. So we've got some cav on the flank over here. They might be looking for an opportunity to get another push, another charge. But the French are starting to fall back. They are starting to fall back, and I think that's good. I think that's good for them, because I think they're just stretching themselves out too thin, especially with the British reinforcements showing up not too long ago. They want to stay alive. They want to keep this force intact because they want to wait for the reinforcements, which, by the way, we have our first reinforcement force moving up. It looks like it's a cav force along with this infantry.
Our men are running.
Lots of infantry. So finally, the French get their reinforcements. They have arrived on... That's so cool. That is so cool. I love that so much. That's just so... I love the reinforcement waves. It makes these battles feel much more realistic. And there we go. This is what the French were worried about. They're starting to break here. And we've got another pause in the video. So we're just going to fast forward here a little bit and get through the pause. I think the pause just represents reinforcements are coming. Again, I think it was the players who were kind of just talking to each other, like, all right, this division can now move in. You know, like, you can move up this reinforcement force. Back over this way, cav has been sent into the forest. Now, not too deep into the forest, because, you know, cav has... That's why they're walking very slowly here. They have a tough time to run through the forest, you know, obviously. But yeah, the French are trying to take care of this flanking force once and for all, so they can focus everything on the other side of the fight. But yeah, the French have kind of fallen back to their defenses. They're waiting for reinforcements, and I definitely think they can do a lot of damage once the reinforcements arrive.
Sir, and must rest a while.
So lots of firing opening up. Yeah, it's really cool. CA, they oftentimes use the same voice actor for many of their games, and if you listen to the French voice actor, I'm pretty sure, and it's the guy who does the Napoleon opening scene. You know, the classic opening when you start the game. But I think it's the same voice actor who plays the French quote-unquote faction in Warhammer, the Bretonnia. He does a lot of voice acting for that. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. I guess a little fun fact there. It sounds just like him. I don't know that for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But yeah, the French are doing a good job here. They've done great. They were super aggressive. They've got a good stronghold. They got a good position, and now they're waiting for reinforcements. Now, on the other side, the British aren't doing bad either. They've got their fresh reinforcements. I think it's now time for the British to get aggressive. try to knock back the French. Try to make them lose this stronghold before the reinforcements arrive. Because the reinforcements are closing in. And look at, they're just walking by this building. They don't even care. I think they have one unit of skirmishers just kind of keeping them occupied. But yeah, the rest of the French troops are like, whatever, I'm pushing. And the reason that is I mean, that's why he got this stronghold. That's why the French have this position, because he just gave, he didn't even care about this house. He's like, whatever, hold on to it, British. I don't care. I'm going to just walk right on by. And their line infantry still trying to get up there. The cav obviously is going to be the first ones to make it. We have a lot of British troops in the tree line they still have to worry about. It's going to be a problem when those reinforcements arrive. It might slow down the reinforcements. Looks like we got some Dutch infantry breaking, getting harassed by some French cav. They're just trying to get them off the battlefield. And the fighting continues. The French are falling back their artillery just barely in time. Oh, what a brave stand here by this line infantry, who are going to pretty much sacrifice their lives to save the artillery. And it's still going to be a close call. I don't know if they're going to be able to get this artillery out of here. Just like, it's like they don't even care. They're like, just keep fighting. I'm strolling. I'm taking my time over here. What's the hurry? It's like, look behind you, dude. Now the line infantry getting ready for the next wave here. Look at this charge. And unfortunately, yep, the artillery is destroyed. Great push. This is what I was talking about. The British need to get aggressive here, and that's what they're doing. Now we have some French cav moving over, and fighting still over here is still going on. But yeah, the French are having to deal with this aggressive push by the British, and it's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. They are breaking here, the British, but that's okay. They should recover. Let's see if they fire into this cav. Come on. They're taking so long. And here we go. Their first little wave of reinforcements have arrived. The French cav. Back over this way. The French are holding quite well. Really, the main issue is over here. The huge just flank has broken, and they've got to use this building as their kind of stronghold. And I think that's what he's doing, is regrouping here, and he's just gonna wait for reinforcements, which they are almost in position. Almost in position. The British still have troops in the tree line, which is still causing the French some issues. They're trying to deal with it. The British are on, look at this. The British are like in whisper range of the French and just firing on their flank. So that's a good move right there by the British as well. So, and we got, here we go. More reinforcements coming in. It's the Prussians. The Prussians have arrived. We got Brunswick Corps. Look at these guys. Death heads. Love it. Love it. So yeah, that's the thing about death heads. It's a really cool design, and a group I'm a little afraid to say what group kind of took it, because I don't want to get demonetized, but Germany World War II, you know, had that death head you know, logo on their uniforms as well. And oftentimes people like confuse that, you know, they're like, oh, it's because they're evil. You know, it's like, no. This is German history. This is Prussian history. The death heads go back, way back, you know, and it's a cool name, and I love it. I love the skull and crossbones. Very piratey, very dark, like the Prussians. Anyways, they're pushing up. They're coming to reinforce this. This is becoming a little bit of a problem. We have another pause in the video. That's okay. We'll fast forward here a little bit. We have another pause in the video. But the Prussians might, if they can get aggressive enough, they might actually completely turn this battle around. And I think that's why the French are now falling back. They're basically delaying until reinforcements arrive, and they still have a little bit of time, but the reinforcements are close. Like, the Prussians need to hurry up and start pushing to kind of save this battle. But what an epic fight here. I mean, just the scale of this battle. I really, really hope that we get another gun total war soon. Like, I really hope that happens. And you know which one I would love to have? the American Civil War. We need a good American Civil War strategy game, and I think if Total War CA can make it similar to Napoleon, as in, you know, similar engine, maybe improve it a little bit, make it a bit more stable, have the classic famous battlefields, you know, you got Gettysburg, Antietam, Shiloh, you know, all those famous battlefields, and just have the famous generals. And, you know, I personally don't even mind if they have specialized general abilities, like Lee. Like, Lee was an engineer, so make him good with engineering. And Longstreet, General Longstreet was like an infantry guy, so make him a good infantry general. Or Stonewall Jackson, he was a very aggressive general, and make him have very aggressive abilities. Or over on the Union side, have like Grant, who's also very aggressive. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the Union general. Union generals had some good generals. Burnside, he wasn't a terrible general. I know he's famous for Burnside Bridge and kind of the massacre when the Union soldiers came across some Georgia boys. But yeah, no, I would love to see a Civil War, Total War, and make it like this. You know, make it epic scale. You know, intense battles that don't take 5 minutes to fight. But here we go. The French are finally pushing up their troops in range of this battle. The British are still, I mean, I think, yeah, the British have so many troops in the tree line. It's like they're like reproducing in here. It's just, I don't know how they got here, but I think it's the Prussians who came by. The Prussians coming in and pushing up and, you know, helping the British. And by the way, when I said I didn't want to say the word, the World War II, the Germans, you know what word I'm talking about. I meant that as in, I don't want to get demonetized, okay? It's not something like, I won't say that word. You know, history is history, but I can't say that on YouTube. I'm afraid to say that on YouTube because of, you know, crazy people have been demonetized for dumber things, you know what I mean? So, anyways, little side note, if you're wondering why I didn't say it. But yeah, there's a little bit of a stalemate over here with the British, but the British have a nice formation in this tree line, and it's going to make it very difficult for the French forces. Now, we are going to fast forward a little bit here as we wait for the reinforcements to form up. The French were able to hold on to this position, and now things are getting intense because these two forces are pretty even, and they got to deal with this tree line. I would focus a lot of attention over here to try to push it out and use it against the enemy. Use this little bit of tree line to fire down at the British. And I think, yep, the rest of the reinforcements are here. They are marching forward. These are smaller forces, but nonetheless will be absolutely vital to for this battle. All right, so we've got more skirmishers moving up. Still waiting for the reinforcements. A nice epic volley of, you know, nice volley from the British from this tree line. It's such a problem. It's such a problem. The French really need to deal with this. Like, I would concentrate 90% of my, okay, maybe not 90, but I would really concentrate a lot more forces on this flank, because the problem here, and this is what I'm seeing from the French, they're pushing up units, but they're about to fall into a double flank here. They're going to get hit from here. They're going to get hit from here. So they need to get aggressive, deal with one flank, and then deal with the other one. Now, the British are actually falling back here a little bit, which is a little surprising. Still a little bit of fighting for these buildings. Not too much going on. Reinforcements are arriving over here still. We just saw them, so yeah, it's going to take them some time to get up here, but this is the juicy part of the battle, and this is where things are going to get juicier. I'm really surprised the British are giving up some land here. They're giving up some ground. And just look at the carnage, too. I just take a moment and just, all the fighting that's already taken place in this area. The stink, you know? The smell, the gunpowder, the bodies, the sweat, the BO. It would be a disgusting messy, chaotic place right now. But yeah, the British are just kind of letting them take this position. British are now finally opening fire at these fresh reinforcements that are moving up. A lot of French troops in this center area of this town. They're moving up as well. And they're still going at it with the troops in the tree line. There's still 32 minutes left in this battle scenario. And that's not battle replay time. That's actually how much time they have to win this one. So I think the time is against the French. As in, you know, the British are defensive. The French are being aggressors, so they have to win the battle in that amount of time. And I think these reinforcements are going to go for the buildings over here. And here we go. Oh my god. Okay, are we going to see a bayonet charge? We are definitely seeing a cav charge. I don't know why they're just kind of strolling into the enemy. Cav is a little funky. I just feel like it's not very fluid sometimes. But yeah, they're going after this Brunswick Corps. Trying to take them out. They can't form square. This unit can, and they certainly do. But the Cav is going to try to stay away. And now we have the French charging in with bayonets. And the back lines over here are opening fire. This is awesome. This is epic. Huge fight. Huge melee going on. They send up a line unit to deal with the square formation. Oh my god. And they just drop. They drop and break as the French get very aggressive. At the same time, the French are pushing against this tree line. And you know, that's not... I kind of like what the French did there. And I'll explain why soon, but let's just keep watching this epic push here by the French. So I like what they did there because a couple reasons. I was a little worried when they were first pushing out. I was a little worried about them getting hit by two flanks. But the fact that they quickly concentrated on one side, it made it so the British couldn't support. They couldn't hit them on two flanks because, one, the French have a small force keeping these guys occupied, and the British over here don't want to give up this position. So if they quickly rushed over and tried to support this aggressive French army or like attack it from the rear, they would end up leaving this tree line and giving up a really solid position. So I think that was really smart from the French to go after this flank and really beat it back. And now we do have more reinforcements from the British. Hanover, we got troops from Hanover. So some more Germans essentially. Island Foot in the back, so we got some British, Scottish forces. We got the 30th Foot Regulars Regiment. So yeah, they're pushing up. They're coming to reinforce. And once again, the French hold this structure. Back over here, the French are still kind of dealing with this house. It looks like they finally destroyed the British inside this house, just skirmishing them down for so long. So they don't have to worry about that anymore. They can actually go and take it. Now, I believe they are playing 4 structures, if I'm not mistaken. Like, the houses are worth a certain amount of points. And that's how they win, whoever controls the most houses, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, wait a second. The British still hold this. I thought they cleaned them out. Was I looking at a different house? I don't know. The British still hold this building. Okay, so cancel that. They still have to deal with the building, and I think they've got this one unit here of line infantry. They're gonna try to take them out. But look at the formation here. I mean, look at this. It's really cool. You've got British over here. The French really put. Oh, good artillery. The French got to do something here quick. But I like the line battle here. The reinforcements make it very interesting. They are falling back. The French are falling back. They're pretty light on this side. They do have some artillery and cav, but in terms of infantry, they're pretty light. But I don't think the British are pretty light over here as well. So let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit as we wait for these troops to kind of reform. The troops in the tree line still going at it. Still attacking this flank. I mean, it's just really a skirmish versus skirmish. It's been going on for so long on this flank. But yeah, look at they've completely given up on that push, and they're going back because of the fresh reinforcements, and that's so cool. That is so cool to see those reinforcements and to see the back and forth between the two sides and just the carnage. And both sides trying to conserve their units, both sides trying to get an edge without losing too many units or soldiers. But yeah, they're just kind of reforming here. And the time, they're now at 26 minutes. So the French are starting to get a little, you know, they need to start paying attention to their time and making sure that they don't run out of it. But yeah, the skirmishing in the tree line still going on. I'm surprised he's not pushing any infantry right here and just kind of hitting them on the flank. He's just kind of letting the British have this tree line in a way. And here we go. Okay, the French are actually pushing into this building here. So they finally had enough. They're like, all right, we've got enough troops. So let's push in here and take this freaking building. And by the looks of it, they are winning this fight. And it's only a matter of time until Great Britain. Yep, there you go. Another building lost to the French. And I think the second to last building is right here. The defenders are down to 87 men. The French are constantly just shooting into this, trying to soften them up. But yeah, they're starting to run out of buildings. And it's pretty cool. You got two buildings you have to capture here. And I think pretty soon you're going to see the British be kind of aggressive because the French control most of the buildings. So we'll fast forward a little bit again. Again, I don't want to cut anything out either when I fast forward. Because I know, like, sometimes when I fast forward, I'll cut it out because, you know, maybe it's not too exciting. But a game for this, you know, a game like Napoleon, you got to see all the maneuvers. You got to see all the tactics and where units are shifting around. Because it is very important. Like, especially a mod like this. Like, it's less about how fast you can click and more about positioning, timing, tactics. And that's why I love this game. Anyways, here we go. A big push by Anglo allies. Landwehr. More Landwehr up here. So they're really pushing up the infantry, and they know they've got to push back the French. And the French, all they have to do is hold because, like I said, they control most of the buildings.
One of our units has used all its
British are kind of falling back over on the other side as they push forward on this side. We have thin lines from the French holding here, and the French are starting to shift over some line infantry to support this defense because they are getting attacked here by the British, obviously. And then back over here, the British are still down to 87. Nothing too crazy. I'm just constantly watching that building because it is pretty important. So I love this shot here. You got the sun beaming down, and the French just kind of holding their ground against these volleys from the British. The French are just barely gonna form up here for. Look at this force here. Look at this absolute monstrous force. I bet we might see a cav charge from the French. I don't know if these. I know the foot guard can form square, and I think that's why they're facing against the cav in case they need to, form a square. But yeah, there goes the cav. I think we're gonna see aggressive move here with the cav and try to go after the Landwehr because I don't think the Landwehr can form square. Like it's more of like elite units can do it. Oh, look at this, a rear unit of skirmishers shooting at the British here. Yeah, the French just aren't too concerned about this tree line. They're just all focused here. I love it. Skirmishing still going on. We got British infantry kind of maneuvering a little bit more around this flank. And of course, the French cav is pushing around the flank as well. Nothing too crazy yet with charges, just a big skirmish going on. The cav is going very wide, looking for opportunities. We do have some British cav kind of protecting, being very defensive. The 2nd Hussars, they're kind of watching this back area. I'm sure they will close in if the French go for a push. So the British are doing a good job. And again, when I say British, I mean Anglo allies or whatever you want to call them. They're doing a good job of holding this position and making it difficult for the French to be able to push through here. So still nothing yet. Infantry still trying to shoot down that building. A lot more French infantry coming up. Finally, reinforcements are arriving. They're a little disorganized. Napoleon would be quite upset about this, but look at, I don't know what, the pathfinding screwed up this unit. And they're just like, wait for me. Hold on. But yeah, these forces are pushing up and gonna do some damage here and hold on to this flank. And I think the French can hold on. I mean, the British really need to get going with their attack because they need to take control of these buildings. But I don't know. There's a lot of French numbers, a lot of French troops, a lot of artillery in the mix as well, just doing some damage. Gruesome fight. We got the reserves over here forming up. This is going to be a big problem. Like, this is going to be actually a really close fight here. I could see the French being aggressive on this side as well. So they're opening fire. They're softening up these troops. I mean, there's really not much going on, honestly. Okay, here we go. We might get a push. I don't know why the British are being so passive here. I don't know why they're being so passive. But they are. Skirmishers up in the front, using a little bit of a slope here, opening fire at the line infantry. A big push here. 1, 2, 3, 4 regiments pushing around. We've got British moving up three regiments with the 4th one nearby. Of course, let's not forget about the cav that could close in at any second, and of course the British have cav. So this is just like a mirror match. You know, they're trying to basically, you know, see what kind of strength the enemy has. And right now it's pretty even. It's pretty even between these two sides here. It's going to be really close. But we might see the French. Oh, wait, look at this. Finally, the British are getting aggressive here. And they are pushing up infantry. The 30th foot, they're closing in. They realize, hey, we can't sit back much longer. We've got to go in. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing these units shift over here to kind of deal with this. But yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem. They're still stretching out their lines. Ooh, good volley by the British. Softening up their numbers. And why aren't they charging? They are just, wow. They're breaking. Did they get charged by skirmishers? Oh my god, they're getting charged by skirmishers and they're breaking. Come on, just charge. They're skirmishers. You can out melee them. They're too small, too thin of a unit. What are they doing? Oh my god. Huge disappointment. Disappointed. Oh my god, the British. I thought they had a good opportunity if they just got really aggressive, charged in, but they kind of sat there, and I'm a little surprised how quickly they broke against these skirmishers. It was kind of surprising. I don't know. It's just kind of shocking, I guess you could say. Here we go. Look at these lines really stretched out. Cav going against the British cav. They are running by a square, which is going to affect the morale of the cav, essentially, the horses. And now, oh, is that a general? Duke of Wellington, Arthur. He's charging in. And actually, they might win here. Falling back, I think that square is really helping them. And the general's going to close in and kind of, you know, keep that morale high for his 2nd Hussars. So we got 14 minutes left. They're still fighting for the building over here. Surprised they haven't pushed for it. And oh, actually, the French hold on here. They beat the Hussars and they're going for Arthur. They're going for Arthur. We'll fast forward a little bit. Entire unit is dead for the French. Oh, Arthur, keep running, dude. Keep running. Look how close. He just barely gets away, but he's going to be able to get the artillery, which I think he's going to, yep, he's going to charge in for. So there you have it. That artillery is being taken out. The French still hold on to this flank. No push here by the British. This is the juiciest part of the battle right now, probably. Lots of fighting. Actually, we see the French falling back a little bit. Balance of power is dead even, but I wouldn't trust that because the balance of power always glitches out. Cav is still alive, guys. The French Cav in the back lines is still alive. Looking for opportunities to get some good rear charges. Again, we'll fast forward a little bit. There's artillery right there, but I think the British are going to have it protected. With some small regiments moving over. But this isn't good. Oh, the Cav is back. And I'm sure... Did the French Cav return? Is this the French... Yeah, the French Cav did return. They just need to get back up to the front line. And the French are starting to fall back. And like I said, the reason that is because this is called a game mode called LOC, which is, I think it stands for line of communication. I'm not really sure, but it's basically a point system. The more buildings you have controlled, the more points you have. Who ends up with the most points wins. I really like that. It makes different objectives for the game and makes it interesting. But there is a spearhead push right now by the French. Look at that. They're going straight down this road. They're going to kind of use the buildings to kind of screen for them. They're going to stop right here. And it's about to get some urban warfare. Some street battles. I'm hearing a charge. Oh, right here. French Cav tried to go after the Prussian artillery, but unfortunately, they do not get there. They break. But now we've got infantry and another unit of Cav pushing up to try to get the arty. See if they can get to it. Oh, actually, they're kind of more focused on the infantry, because the French infantry is pushing on the other side. We've got a nice double team here from the infantry and the Cav. And now the Cav is going to break away and go for the artillery. So really good pushing by the French. And I just don't think the British have it in them to be able to break through this line. The British allies just don't have enough. Over here, the French have finally decided to push in and take this building. And this is going to be the second to last building. They're finally going to take it. And there's just going to be one more building, which is controlled by the British right here. And maybe they do have to take all the buildings. I'm not exactly sure how the rules work, but I'm pretty sure the French are in a much better position compared to the British. Artillery going after enemy artillery, or French artillery going after British artillery. There's a lot of British troops here. We might see a push from them again over here because they are starting to run out of time. There's about 9 minutes left in this battle. We will fast forward a little bit because we're at about an hour of recording. I don't want this video to be too long. But at the same time, I don't want to make a bunch of edits either because I want you guys to experience the whole thing and see everything. I don't know. I like that. Maybe that isn't good for YouTube. Like maybe I should edit this down to 10 minutes or something. But I just don't like that. I like to give you everything. I know some people have short attention spans, but there we go. They took the building. They now control that building. They can start pushing up this infantry and supporting the attack. The British are really just at just a tough position. They're now moving up their infantry. The French are... Oh my god, okay. We lost a general there, another general, I'm not sure their names, and it's not popping up. Farmhouse has been taken. Yes, oh my god, the French have taken the farmhouse. And if they broke, What happened? Shattered, they just instantly shattered. Oh my god, I guess because they lost their general? And I think that's gonna be the battle, guys. Yeah, I did not expect that. I did not see that coming, but it was quite clear that the British weren't gonna win. They were shattered there. They lost their general. They lost Prince of Orange. They lost Duke of Wellington, and that would be like a Napoleon wet dream right there. That really happened. But big push. The French take this one, but the British put up an excellent fight. We'll go ahead and just get to the end results. And here we go. Here they are. That was quick. Really good job by Ney. I'm not sure who. I think Ney was possibly led by Lepic. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Lepic, but thank you for the battle replay. He was one of the French players. Excellent job. Excellent job with the 2,000 kills. Here's 107 with the Dragoons. Cav getting a lot of kills. No surprise there. But a good fight. Really exciting. This was the historical scenario of Quatre. If you like this mod, I would definitely recommend it. Do some historical battles. They're really long, but it's worth it. And just make sure you play by the rules so the reinforcements arrive when they should. It makes it much more interesting. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on the battlefield.